Hi guys, welcome to another Fearless Energy weekly update for the week of February 21st to the 27th. Mercury retrograde is over. That was probably the most violent, aggressive, narcissistic, stubborn retrograde I think I've ever been through in my entire life. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really glad that that thing is over. I think that it tried to ruin me every single day, and I came out standing every day. It was like insane. So we got through the first Mercury retrograde. I hope you guys are doing well through that. Remember that we're still in a post-shadow period for the next 2 weeks. So this retrograde was really meant to wrap things up for you. Like if you were still holding on to certain situations, certain people, certain relationships, if you were lying to yourself, basically, if you weren't taking accountability and you were lying to yourself, this retrograde really showed you your ass in a big way. So the next 2 weeks is going to be like we're doing the swipe through the 11th degree mark to the 25th degree mark again before it comes out of the shadow period, before Mercury comes out of his shadow period. And you might be reviewing a few things if you still have some stuff that you need to let go of. And so the energy for this week, it's not going to be as volatile as it has been literally for the last year. It's not going to be as volatile. There are a couple of bumps along the way this week, but especially with the Virgo full moon that's happening this week, this is really cleanup. Like if you think about what Virgo is a very natural healing energy. So we're going to really talk about what that full moon is going to mean for everybody, and that's actually happening really, really early in the morning on Saturday, so it's like overnight, Friday into Saturday. For some of you, those of you that are across the pond in England or Australia, it will be on the 27th on the 26th, and for the rest of us, it'll be on the 27th, but really early in the morning on the 27th. So before we get started, a couple of announcements really quick. I have a new astrology reading, but it combines the Akashic records with astrology. So when we look into our natal chart and we look into our birth chart, we can see lessons and stuff that we have brought into this lifetime from past lifetimes through different aspects, through different placements. And I've looked into the Akashic records and we're able to clear out the karma of astrology natal birth chart. So if you're interested in that, that is a new service that I'm providing. And it's an introductory service right now. So I have very limited spaces for it, but if you would like to be a part of that, you can click the information box below. Just go to my website, fearlessintuition.net. and click book a session and you can reserve your spot for that. Also, if you're having trouble of letting go of all of that what that Mercury retrograde showed you, I have a mastering detachment class on March 1st, the evening of March 1st. I've given this mastering detachment class a couple of times, and it's really amazing the ways that we hold on to things. So if you are having a hard time finding closure from relationships, finding closure from situations in your life, if you're having a hard time of letting go of the past, if you genuinely really want to step into your future and find a way to learn how to be happy every day. I mean, learning how to detach yourself from situations doesn't mean that you lack emotions. It doesn't mean that you don't care about things. It just means that you choose your own emotions first. You choose how you're going to feel. You don't allow the outside or other people to tell you how you're going to feel. So would love for you to join me. That information is also in the description box. And we're doing some really fun things on the memberships too. So if you haven't joined us on the memberships, you get mid-month readings there. People have been asking where the 6-month forecast readings are. They're all over in the membership. So if you are missing those forecasts, the yearly forecast readings, they're all over in the membership. So, all right, you guys, so let's get started. I'm actually doing this Sunday morning. Usually I do it the day before, but the last 2 days of that retrograde and then the Mercury stationing direct was really, really, really hard on my system. So I had to take a couple of days of self-care. So I am doing this on Sunday morning, and it feels it feels like the energy is like 180. Like it just flipped, like it pivoted so well. And the energy today just feels a lot better. We're still under, and I'm going to show you guys here. Let's just look at the chart. So this is today, February 21st. And we're all doing it in Central Standard Time because that's where I am. So if you look at this chart, like all of this is like all of that red that's there, the squares that are going on, because now even since the sun is in Pisces, the sun is going to be coming up squaring the north nodes, or the nodes, not the north nodes, the lunar nodes as well. And so there's still going to be, it's going to be a softer vibration, but really, really pay attention to the illusions and stuff that are still happening. If you can see that we still have some super, super tight squares happening with Saturn and Uranus here. They're still squared. We talked about the Saturn and Uranus square last week, about how the changing of the guard is happening and we're shifting. And so that is still going to be feeling that. So if you're still feeling some pressure, and if you're still feeling like you're sort of under a vice, this really, really harsh energy right here is probably the reason why you're still feeling all of that. We're also going to have, and these are just some things that I want to show you guys before we actually get into the day-to-day, because I'm not going to be getting into specifics about these things when we get into the day-to-day. But if you also notice here, Mercury and Jupiter are also going to be in a really tight conjunction all week long. And probably, for a little while, until Mercury actually passes Jupiter, when we get into March. So, he's going to finally start moving a little bit. I mean, like Mercury's Quicksilver, he moves pretty quickly. So he's going to start moving pretty quickly again. But in the meantime, when he gets his engines going this week, he's going to be in a really tight conjunction with Jupiter too. So there can be a lot of illusion going on right now. There can be a lot of illusions of grandeur even. Really feeling like anything is possible, and that can be a positive, but you also have to look at the negative side too, because if you are overly excited, if you're overly enthusiastic about things and you're not staying grounded and you're not seeing how, you're going to be skipping some steps. When we get too excited and overly excited about stuff, like it's great to dream and it's great to have that joy and feel that abundance and feel that power, but you really have to allow yourself to contain it as well, so that you don't skip the steps along the way. So you don't skip that journey along the way. So, and there's this really big feeling, this undeniable feeling of wanting change, of really wanting to see the change that the world is going through right now. Like we really want to see things change for the better. I've seen a lot of pettiness, and I don't think that that's going to go away during Pisces season, just because I think that people are kind of, they're really voicing, like, this is going to be a big thing with Mercury and Jupiter. People are going to be voicing exactly what it is that they want. They want what they want, and if they don't get what they want, they're going to find a way to do it. And sometimes that's not always... what's the word I want to say there? Sometimes that's not always honest. Sometimes it's not in the honest way. Some, people can think in energy like this. People can think that they're invincible, that they can say and do whatever they want, and it doesn't really matter what other people are going through or doing. So just be very, very cautious of when you're interacting with other people right now. And man, you guys, protect your intellectual property. Like, that's all I can say. There are some people out there that just do not have any integrity. And I've been talking about integrity a lot lately because this energy is showing people their asses. And when, and so we're seeing who is really, really living for the truth. And whatever that truth might be it's going to be different for everybody. But as long as you're living the truth, whether, as long as you're living your truth, and you're living in your integrity, that is always going to be, the best way to go, the most authentic and best way to go, because then you don't have to explain yourself. If somebody comes in and tries to accuse you of something, you'd be like, I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? It's like, it's very hard to defend yourself when you're just being honest, because you're like, I don't feel like I have to defend my honesty kind of thing. I hope that made sense and you guys understand what I'm saying. Okay, so Sunday, we've got the moon in Gemini. The moon has already met with the north node down here. As we're speaking, she's just traveling right along. And this is what I'm saying, where I feel like there's going to be a lot of emotional interaction, a lot of information coming out. This Gemini moon really made people quite chatty. And like, if you've been on social media the last couple of days watching this Gemini moon, watching people interact under this Gemini moon at that last degree, or that last direct, Mercury is like stationed at this 11th degree, and people just like, blah, 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 like all over the place. Like, I really tried to not get in the mix this weekend for sure, because it was pretty hairy there for a couple of days. So then we're going to move into Monday and Tuesday, where we will have the moon in Cancer. So let's look at that really quick. Okay, so Monday, we have the moon in Cancer, and look at that. It's already trining with the Pisces sign. So Monday's going to be a really watery day. It's so funny because after all of this air energy that we've had here, and even this stubborn, it's like so much fixed energy that's happening here. And now the sun has moved into mutable Pisces. And, Pisces is the dreamer. Pisces is, it's so creative, but man, if you have never sat down with a Pisces and had a conversation with them, they're so incredibly intelligent. And I don't think that they get enough credit for that. And I think the reason why they don't get enough credit for the intelligence is because they won't show that readily to just anybody. Like, they're not just going to give their intellectual property away, if you will, right? They feel so much safer within that creative flow and within doing that. And so we're getting this opportunity now to sort of break out of that really strict, harsh, fixed air, fixed earth energy and moving into that more mutable, flowy type of energy. And with the Cancer moon, we're all going to feel things a little bit deeper. And I don't know, Cancer moons can be kind of strict sometimes, but I think it's because they're so in tune with how they're feeling that if they allow themselves to crack open just a little bit, it's like a water, it's like a waterfall. It's like the gates are really, really opening. So if there are things from the Mercury retrograde, Monday and Tuesday are really going to show you where it is that you need to be paying attention to your own emotions, and how you need to allow yourself to heal, and how you need to allow yourself to flow into a new kind of energy. The moon in Cancer is going to be trining Neptune on Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday are like such creative energy days that I would really, really, really like to see everybody get into that kind of vibration and allow yourself to not just see the pettiness of the world or the sadness or the anger of the world, but like read a really good book and, have a really long conversation with a friend that you haven't talked to in a long time. Spend some time in a salt bath, you know what I mean? Just things like that just kind of make you feel better, that bring you joy, that make your emotions flow a little bit more. And instead of feeling like we have to constantly be working or we have to constantly be striving towards something, when we take a moment, take a breath and take a moment and we relax into it. And I know that it's kind of difficult to do that for those of you that do have corporate jobs and you have to like go to work on Monday and Tuesday. But being in a softer flow or being in a softer kind of energy can really make the day go by smoother. Even if you are sitting in a cubicle and you're staring at a computer, breathing through the day. Remember to drink lots of water during Pisces season, because we've literally gone from like fixed desert air to flowing water. Okay, so you could literally feel parched. You could feel like you've been, you're going to be drowning. So make sure that you're filling up your vessel too with all of that water. So we have Monday and Tuesday are going to be pretty emotional days. Moving on to Wednesday really quick, because I don't want to get too stuck on the watery emotional days, because as we move into Wednesday, there's going to be more of a power struggle that's going to be happening. If you look here, we have Mars down here in Taurus, trining Pluto. Now a trine is happy energy, or it's good energy. It's working together. The planets are working together. It's harmonious, right? But we still have this square between Saturn. I mean, they're just still only seconds away from each other. 59 seconds here, 27 seconds here. So Saturn square Uranus, and then, I mean, again, Mercury and Jupiter are still in that very tight conjunction, only 4 degrees away from each other. And we have the moon in Leo, and so now the moon in Leo is going to be opposing all of this energy. And when we have an opposition, it's like a full moon energy. It's like the ending of something. It's the closing out of a cycle. So this Leo moon is going to be opposite. Let's move forward a little bit. It's going to be opposite Saturn there. Let's see how fast it'll go. Sometimes it moves really, really slowly. And if I make it go faster, then it's like too fast and it's hard to slow down. Okay, almost there. Okay, oh, one more, because it just shifted over to 8. All right. Okay, so now we have the Leo moon is opposite Saturn here. And so the lessons, the emotional lessons, like that really heart-centered. I mean, like, what is Leo energy? It's really, really heart-centered. So there are a lot of lessons that we're going to be having, there are going to come to the forefront to pay attention to, and in a really, really heart-centered way. And with this power struggle happening with this Mars square Pluto in Capricorn, or not square, I'm sorry, Mars trine Pluto in Capricorn, we could have a lot of extra energy happening there. But at the same time, if you if you didn't take the time on Monday and Tuesday, it's like the reason why I'm leading up to this with that flow is if you didn't take the time on Monday and Tuesday to flow, if you're not taking accountability for the things that you have to do, if you're not recognizing that things need to change in your life, this can be a very aggressive day for you. Because, having this fire, it's going to be trining, we have the moon trining Chiron and opposite Saturn, and Mars trining Pluto. And that's some really potent, aggressive energy if you are not taking accountability for your own emotional state, if your own emotional status. Power plays are going to be really heavy. Wills are going to be really strong. There's going to be a lot of energy here. There's going to be a potential for sudden emotional outbursts. People are going to be triggered like crazy on Wednesday. So, and leading up to that on Monday and Tuesday, you can either allow yourself to be in your own energy and see what that feels like, so that when Wednesday shows up, because it's going to also spill over into Thursday as well. But when Wednesday shows up with all that power play stuff, you know who you are. You know that you're standing in your truth. You know that how you're guiding yourself and guiding your life. It's not, nobody else can really penetrate that. Nobody else can really come into your energetic space. So really paying attention to how you're taking accountability for your emotions on Monday and Tuesday are going to help you on Wednesday. Do you see how that flows into there? So then we move on to Thursday. Moving into Thursday, the moon in Leo is going to be opposite Mercury and Jupiter, which we just like flew right past that, didn't we? Let's go back a little. So the Leo moon will be opposite Mercury and Jupiter. And with that opposition, there are probably going to be some conversations, like wrapping up some conversations. Look how tight that this conjunction is here. So there's going to be a lot of wrapping up of conversations, and if you're being really, this is a good day to promote yourself, but don't be overly boastful. Like, really pay attention to, if we're being aware of other people's emotions and other people's feelings at the same time. I'm not saying to don't be afraid that you're going to hurt somebody else's feelings, but also don't purposefully try to by being overly boastful. There's kind of a trend that's happening right now where people aren't using their own work. Like, people are plagiarizing other people's work. People aren't quoting work when they're not like citing their resources that they're getting. And that can really, really, really bite you in the ass down the road, especially during this Mercury, during the post-shadow period. There's a lot of stuff that can really come out and come to light. And I feel like with this Leo moon, like there's probably going to be a lot of stuff revealed during this Leo moon because of the this overall opposition energy of us having to learn lessons, of us having to recognize that we need to stay heart-centered, but not to the detriment of other, like we need to stay heart-centered and boastful and, show our own work with pride, but not to the detriment of other people. Like, don't take from other people and make it yours and then boast, then promote that kind of thing. Like, make sure you're promoting yourself within that integrity as well. So, and seeing how this opposition is going to play out, like, I'm really, really curious how this opposition is going to play out in a big way. We also have the sun, and this is exact happening right here. The sun is going to be sextile Uranus, and that's really some genius stuff that's going to be going on Thursday. Like, I think that there's going to be a lot of quality content coming out this week. I think that a lot of people are going to start really getting into researching things that they're super, super passionate about. This is such a creative time, you guys. And if you're focusing your energy in the right way, if you're focusing your energy on your journey and the things that you need to do, so much can be accomplished and so much can be done. And we haven't really been able to say that in a long time. Like yes, are we still sort of under this pressure kind of energy? Absolutely. We're still sort of like feeling the pressure of the things that are changing and the things that have to shift and all of that. But at the same time, the stuff that can grow out of this, like, think about how diamonds are made and how we've been through that pressurized stuff. We've been through the fire portion of it all. Like, that was the hard stuff, that the guts, right? Like, we had to really, really get into the guts and really look at all that hard stuff. And now we're getting the opportunity to start nurturing the seeds that we planted and really allowing ourselves to think bigger outside of the box. That's what Aquarius is all about, right? Thinking outside of the box. And then Pisces comes in with the creative stuff, but also with this, the sun with Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is the big change, the big innovator. And we've been seeing a whole bunch of really wild weather while Uranus has been in Taurus, and that's going to be continuing while Uranus is in Taurus. And it's just, again, the changing of the guards. It's not, when I say that, I don't just mean in like government. I don't just mean in, the matrix. I'm not looking at just the matrix. The changing of the guard is literally Gaia. She's been under so much stress and so much pain for so long that she's literally regenerating herself over and over and over again. Why do you think this huge deep freeze came down? Everything had to be dead. Everything had to die out so that when we do start fresh, so when we do plant those seeds, there's nothing there that can destroy it that's fresh, right? And that's what spring is all about. And that's what the rains are going to be all about. I guarantee you this spring is not going to be a quiet springtime. I promise you that this springtime is not going to be quiet when it comes to the weather, because Gaia is even changing the way that she's doing things, because that's the way that it has to be. Adding on to that creativity, we have Venus moving into Pisces on Thursday as well. I'll also have all of this stuff in the description box, the days that this happens, so you guys don't miss that. But Venus is going to be moving into Pisces, and Venus loves being in Pisces. Venus is exalted in Pisces, and it's very just, a Venus in Pisces person is very charming, very playful, very sensitive, really, really giving. They can be self-deprecating sometimes if they are not focusing on loving themselves, or they're not focusing on seeing the good side of stuff. So just be very extra careful of those emotional things. A lot of people are going to fall in love, I feel like, with Venus in Pisces, and possibly fall out of love when Venus moves into Aries, just because they're going to see how the fantasy played out with Venus in Pisces, and then how the fantasy is not actually real when Venus is in Aries. So that's a little bit of a warning that there's going to be some fantasy play or some fantastical stuff play that's going on with Venus in Pisces and the Sun in Pisces. And then we're even going to, during Pisces season, see Mercury move into Pisces as well. So it'll be quite interesting to have all of this Pisces energy moving and going on. So moving forward into Friday, we are leading ourselves up to the full moon in Virgo. So we have the moon is in Virgo here. And if we, let's see, I'm going to go a little faster with the speed. We're going to, so the moon in Virgo on Friday is going to be opposite Venus, and it will be also be trining Uranus just before the full moon happens. It'll be trining Uranus. And so it's probably going to be one of those days where we have like I said, like this is like one of those days where you could fall in love, where you could easily just like that, like somebody would say something to you and just go, like you melt. Maybe not fall in love, but like very swoony. There's going to be a lot of love chatter, I think, that's happening even more so than it was when we were, around Valentine's Day, when we had that really lovely energy going on, Jupiter Venus energy going on during Valentine's Day. But I think that this week with the full moon in Virgo, we're recognizing the stories that we have told ourselves about love and changing those ways. And we really might start romanticizing a lot of things about the past. And when you are romanticizing those things about the past, really pay attention to how you're holding on to those things, because this is about forward moving. So anytime you allow yourself to romanticize about the past, it can turn into regret and disappointment instead of feeling joy, right? So we want to be grateful for the past. We want to be able to look at the past situations that we've had with this full moon coming up. We want to be able to look at the past situations. We want to see how they changed us and molded us and made us who we are today. And allowing ourselves to do that instead of consistently feeling like we need to stay in an old narrative or stay in an old mindset, allowing ourselves to be grateful and say, thank you for being that person that helped me learn these lessons. That's going to be a big thing for this full moon, and allowing yourself to say, I am my own love. I am my own healer. I am my own person, my own sovereign being on this, and just that big reminder more than anything. Okay, let's get to the full moon. Oops. Oh, almost got there. Let me slow it down again so I don't go too fast. See what I mean? It's like, there's no halfway. Here we go. Okay. Yep. All right. So this is what's happening with the full moon. You can see that we also are looking at a square to the nodes with this full moon. So it's really going to be a lot of fated events that are happening, and we're still under that square with Uranus and Saturn. They're only 1 degree, not even a degree away from each other, like 45 seconds away from each other. And this close Mercury, which rules Virgo. So the Virgo moon, its ruler is still conjunct Jupiter. So a lot of really fantastical ideas, a lot of achiever moments could be possibly happening with this full moon as well. But this is going to be a good time to allow yourself to release those final fragments of what this Mercury retrograde really taught you. The things that came up, the things that were revealed, very important stuff for you to take accountability for, to take responsibility for. I know what that means for me. I know that there are a couple of things where like I really need to pay attention to myself, like slowing down. Like a lot of this stuff for me is happening in my 12th house and my 6th house, like right along that axis, because I have, Pisces. So if you look in your own natal chart and you see where Virgo is and you see where Pisces is, you're going to see the axis that the full moon is going to be taking place on. And you can see the parts of your own natal chart where you'll be healing your own things. And again, what is a full moon? It's like the culmination of something. It is closing out. It's closure, right? And again, if you're having a really hard time with closure, the Mastering Detachment course is going to be on Monday, and that's so close to that full moon that if you do a full moon ritual and you do the Mastering Detachment course on Monday, that's like perfect. That's like going to be like a perfect plan for you to close out your past, to let go of your past. And when we talk about, and when I say we, I mean spiritual teachers, when we all talk about how closing out the past and letting go of the past and not romanticizing the past, that doesn't mean that we forget it. That doesn't mean that all of those memories don't mean anything. That doesn't, I think that that's the biggest thing is people are like, but I want that time in my life to mean something. Well, that's great, but you don't have to allow the buildup. You don't have to allow the romanticizing. I have a friend that she had an anniversary of a breakup every single year because it was a very hard breakup, but it redefined who she was. That relationship and that breakup redefined who she was. So she thought that if she celebrated that breakup every single year, or she celebrated, she always had like an anniversary for it and a celebration for it. And what she would do was really care for herself during those anniversaries of that breakup. But what it was actually doing was reminding her system and reminding her body every single year. And it was the buildup too. She would start the buildup like a week before. She would just know that it's coming. It's like that foreboding, right? Like it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And she would build it up for a week before. And I'm like, you're literally reminding your system to be in that terrifying mode again. You're literally reminding your system to be afraid, to be fearful of things, to be sad, to be angry. Like, why does that feel good to you? Why do you want to torture yourself in that way by bringing that stuff up over and over again? And she was like, wow, I never really thought about that. Right? So we have to really pay attention to how we're treating our past. And when we have full moons like this, and even, when we have the full moon in Libra and even the full moon in Scorpio, all the way into Taurus season, when we have that full moon in Scorpio, it's going to be the same thing. We're really having to recognize the changing of the guard. And that even means the changing of the guard within yourself. Are you allowing yourself to have the authority over your feelings and all of this stuff, right? Or are you creating more havoc and more pain and more strife and anger and fear within yourself every single time? You see? So hopefully you guys can see with this Mercury retrograde how it really showed you how you needed to change your life and moving forward, and that this Virgo full moon can help you cleanse that and can help you heal and release all of those things. Okay? All right, you guys, I hope you have a really wonderful week. Please come join me for the Mastering Detachment class. It's going to be a really, really good time, and we'd love to see you in the memberships as well. And if you have some things that you would like to clear karmically out of your natal chart, or you're interested in that, that reading is now available on my website, fearlessintuition.net. I love you guys. Have a good week. Take care of yourselves. Bye.